Good evening. Welcome back to the Gooner Booth. It is the watch along. It's Arsenal versus Newcastle. We're going to get into it before Wayne falls asleep. Before we do get into it, please like, please subscribe, and get involved in the comments tonight. Wayne, good evening, mate.
Yeah, good evening, Bones. How we doing? You all right?
Yeah, been a long week, hasn't it, mate? Glad it's Friday.
Yeah, mate, yeah. Didn't start so well on Sunday, and then it's just carried on throughout into the week and Monday. But yeah, listen, we've got a different opposition. We're back at the Emirates. We've got to get up for it, and we've got to get ready for it, mate. I think obviously the team needs us. I was thinking as well before we get into more pressing matters is one thing I wanted to get off my chest, Bones. Right,
Go for it.
The reason it just reiterates it again. That's a different league. And I'm not going to waffle them too long because they don't deserve to have time on a channel dedicated to the Arsenal. But West Brom have just been docked 2 points. They're in a relegation battle in the Championship. They've been docked 2 points for not meeting the EFL's PSR regulations by just under 2 million. We've had almost, 3 years? It said just over 3 years now since they got charged, City. And yeah, nothing. So West Brom are getting points for one breach, Tone. Straight off, EFL's gone boom. And I thought to myself, now listen, I'm backing the boys, right? This statement is not an overreaction, yeah. But I'm backing the boys and I back them to the end of the season, right? But I can't follow my football club in a league like this anymore. If they win Man City this league, Tone, I can't. I've had enough personally because they've got it hanging over them. How is 130? They got 130, by the way, 130 plus, dude. Yeah. Evening, Charles. I don't know if I could follow my team in competing in the league.
Hello, mate. How are you?
Thank you, Charles. And this is one thing I want to put out there to yourself. And obviously, I know we haven't got a massive amount at the moment, as I can see. But people that may watch this video, it come across on YouTube. I will follow my team. I refuse to follow my team with a bunch of cheats. We are competing in the league with a bunch of cheats, Tone. I'll watch it with you or watch it in next season in the Champions League. But I can't carry on watching my football team compete in a league where cheats are getting away with it. You know, look at Chelsea. They didn't get a massive fine for stuff, but they cooperated. So that's what they're trying to say, as I've said before.
Well, that's what I was thinking today. City aren't cooperating either.
They haven't cooperated. Yeah, and they're not getting things. And what I mean by this, Tone, this is what I'm saying. You can't be misread what I'm saying, but I'm sick and tired. I'm sick and tired of having my football club and everyone else bats an eyelid. Oh yeah, we want Arsenal to lose the league, so he doesn't care that the Lance Armstrong of football is up there. But if they win it, which I hope they don't, I hope my football team win it. But if they win it, Tone, I'll be done watching Arsenal if they do not get punished, because what they've done is worth punishing. And other teams are getting punished. No one's doing. And what's going on with this City, Tone, with 130 odd plus charges, dude? And I'm sick of it, really, mate. You're sick of reading stuff. And as much as West Brom might have done stuff, they've been punished, right? If they've broken the law on one thing. That's the rant over. I just want to say to you, mate, if they do, it's an absolute farce if this team wins the Premier League. I know it's on us because we had a points thingy, but I've said before they shouldn't even be competing, dude. But I'm sick. I think I won't be boycotting supporting Arsenal. I won't support them in this league if it carries on where nothing is done of it, because it's a ridiculous amount of charges and other teams have been done, Bones,
Yeah, look, I get the rant. I do get the rant, and it's something that I've been putting in the back of my mind, right? Because the way I'm looking at it, I was in a great mood before you started talking, Wayne.
Sorry, I apologize, dude. I'm not slagging off Roy. I'm working for Royal Mail because I do that. I've been doing a job for 8 years, but yeah, this is a good point, Charles. I let Tony have his say.
What is your perspective?
Your head goes, Tone.
Do you know what, Charles? I've very, very good point. And Wayne is very passionate about it. And look, I think that the problem is in this world, right? Money talks, and you're never going to get around it. And that's the way I'm looking at it, right?
Yep.
And I'm going along the lines of how if they were going to get charged, they would have been charged by now, right?
Yep.
Which tells me that they've found a way to wiggle out of it. Yeah,
with the money that they paid the big lawyers,
with the money,
yep.
But I also
state owned.
Who's that guy that owns who's the CEO of the Premier League that refused to go to the Etihad to give him the trophy?
Yeah, I told you. Yeah, exactly. Richard something or other.
Yeah, he didn't go there, right? So what does that tell you? That tells you that something's going on in the background. He don't agree with it, but he's been overruled. I think that something's happened, right? They're still there. I reckon they'll get a slap on the wrist, Wayne. Right?
They'll get a financial slap on the wrist, Bones. That's all they'll get.
And my perspective, just to answer Charles' question, sorry, I'm sort of going off on a tangent. The reason why
that's what we do on this channel, Bones. Don't apologise.
I'm doing to you, Wayne. I haven't really thought about them in the sense of I go 150 charges, 15 charges, they should be looked at and all that stuff. But the way I'm looking at it is, if they wouldn't have been able to sign Semenyo and Gay if they were signing on them, I don't think they've got anything on them. They're refusing to give their books over. That's what I've been reading as well. This is going to go on for a long time, Wayne. Right? So I'm looking at it now, Graham. I've listened to the press conference this evening before joining the pod with yourself. And I'm looking at it. Arteta's literally relaxed. For once, I've seen him relax. Probably won't be relaxed tomorrow when the game starts, but he looked quite relaxed to me.
Yeah,
we have got an opportunity to go 3 points clear tomorrow, right? Because City have got an FA Cup game, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah.
But then they play on the Monday away to Everton.
So we
then play Fulham, which I will be at, which is going to be hopefully a good atmosphere, right? We could be 6 points before they kick a ball, right? So I'm looking at a sense of, they're cheating, wankers. Sorry for my language. They're cheating, right? We all know they're cheating. Everyone knows they're cheating. That's why the banter's coming out about it. And it's also what's more frustrating, Wayne, is that the rival supporters would rather a cheating institution win the league over
because their hatred over Arsenal. And, that's it. They just ignore it. I mean, just to add on, and I'll let you carry on, Bones. But this is the thing. People can come on and watch this channel and be rival for whatever. I'm not saying that no rival, not even like Spurs or whatever, you should not want Arsenal to win the title, but you're defaulting to a cheating institution to stop. Now, whether you hate us with a passion, that is your perspective because you're a rival fan. I hate a lot of football teams, Tone, in the Premier League that we play against, But I'm saying to you, like, as fans, you have to sit here and go, look, this is just something's not right. And how can clubs like West Brom, how can Leicester have just got relegated? Sheffield Wednesday's got relegated. They're getting points deducted. Everton's had points deducted. Forest has had points deducted. And this has been going on and on and on because money, in my opinion, talks. And as we've just said, the lawyers they've got the best lawyers in the world. I don't want to sort of like start. I just wanted to say, Tone, for me, I've been saying this for months on end. We are a football club competing against an endless state. You look at it now, we've kind of our football club has run into a bad form, right? We couldn't go, this is going to be a quick, as quick as I can, Tone, sorry, because it was made a point today. They can, if they don't like their centre-halves, they'll go and they've got Gay, right? They got Semenyo, In the summer, they bought that Reinders or whatever his name is. Have you seen him?
He's on the bench.
He's not played since January.
Because I was looking at the bench of City, and I don't think he's touched the ball in weeks.
They can literally now. They've been what it is. Tone, is when they've broken the law. I think because they can sign these players is because they've been selling youth and stuff like that, and that's classed as pure profit. But this is what I'm saying. This is the kind of club you're dealing with, where they can find a way, however they can, to sign. They got multiple. Look at They got Grealish, who's actually only just on loan at Everton. He's a £100 million midfielder. Calvin Phillips, everyone forgets about, 50, 60 million pound midfielder. They got that Nico Gonzalez they signed in January. He don't play. Reinders don't play. They just come on, they sit on the bench and whatever. City can do that. You're facing a team who have unlimited resources, can cheat their way into football, and everyone's going, that's great because they might beat Arsenal to the title. And it's getting lost. The rivalry between Arsenal and other fans, and the hatred for Arsenal, hatred for Arsenal fans, hatred for Mikel Arteta is getting away of the fact that there's a cheating institution competing at the top, and no one gives a crap.
The only one that's actually come out on Talk Shite, right, is Simon Jordan. Simon Jordan's gone, I don't want City to win because of everything that's over their head. And
this is my point, Tony.
Rather an institution not win.
Exact. You know, if these charges, listen, if these charges, whatever happened, if it resolved or whatever, I would not be here moaning right now. I would have started for the first opening 10 minutes of this chat prior to a game, a very important game, by the way. But well, I'll bring it up, Tone, because there's been a lot of stuff again coming on my Twitter, and as I say, you know, when you're a postie, sometimes when you're doing mail, you might just flick on a bit of football, see what's going on in the football world, and you flick and refresh on Twitter, and people are saying about it. I'm not saying it because they're chasing us down. I'm saying it because they're chasing us down, because I don't believe they should be. If their charges, the amount of charges they got, Tone, right, they should have at least had a point deduction by now. There's some people saying they should be relegated, Tone, but nothing's been said. Nothing has happened, and that just tells me something's happened in the background, doesn't it? Because what else can you allude to, Bones?
Joe, the best thing that can happen for us is we go and win this league, right? Naturally, yeah.
Naturally, yeah.
And then they get whatever's coming to them. That'd be the.
I would like that, and this is why I say, obviously, I want. If any more you say, you have your point, but I think we will move on a little bit from it because the main thing is tomorrow. But if you've got anything else, Bones, you let it out. But that's the most important thing. There. Win your 5 games, Tone.
I'm up for these 5 games, right? I'm looking at it going, let's go for it. Let's go for it. Let's stop fucking about. Stop defending. Stop defending first. Go and attack. The one thing I see at City, we had the ability to attack. Now go and attack Newcastle, right? And go out there and go, right, we're going to score goals today. We're going to go and score three goals.
100%.
Right? The best outcome for tomorrow, right? Because everyone's looking at the Burnley game going, that's a good result, right?
Yeah.
And Merson did say, if Man City do not smash Burnley, Arsenal has still got a shot in this title. Yeah. The worst thing that could have happened to us if they beat Burnley 5-0. But it also goes to show that they are under pressure as well, Wayne. And they've got to go away to Everton. Their next game's away to Everton. Everton ain't going to roll over for them.
I don't think they go perfect, Tone. Or at least if they do, they're not going to be banging goals in.
This is where we cannot afford, Wayne. We cannot afford to drop points. Now, we cannot afford another Bournemouth performance. We can't afford it. Yeah. We can't afford any shit performances now. It's got to be, let that bloody handbrake off and let the players express themselves.
2 shit performances where we nick a goal off the backside of Gabriel has to come in the Champions League to get to the final. Yeah. I want those 5 games in the Premier League to be his priority for going at it. My starting 11 will show that. We'll let Charles have a quick say here as well, Tone. I think that's what I think. You go for it, mate. Go on.
Some good questions tonight, Charles. Thanks them as always, mate.
Yeah, we appreciate it, Charles. You know that.
What puzzles me in the UK media, just casually going on about it when if it was some dictator, some money laundering inside the country, the coverage would have been non-stop. Yeah. You've not heard a lot about it, have you? That's one thing. It's not in the news.
Listen, Charles. I became a meme, and I won't repeat myself with certain me saying about conspiracy theories, but surely there must be some media blackout. Whether it's from them, I don't know, because it's not said enough. You know what I mean? We had a couple of months back, which I thought, Jesus Christ, on the overlap. I told you, didn't I? Was it a month or 6 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Sorry, football, so much football, your time flies. You can't sort of say. But he was on the overlap saying he's predicting that City will be fined between 40 to 60 points, will be deducted. Yeah. And you ain't heard anything since. And then you still got Gary Neville, whose mate Jamie Carragher's on there as well. But you got him still licking their backside, and as he was in comms on Sunday. And another thing, Tone, before we do move along with another thing with Gary Neville, he was abused or something. Someone had a video and people are calling him.
Yeah, on the street.
I'm not condoning it, right? But you imagine if it.
I'm laughing because you can't. No, but the reason that I hate to. I'm not talking about politics on this show. That's one thing that we're not going to do. But the reason why he was getting abused is because he come out and said that comment about middle-aged white men at the problem.
Yeah, I know. I remember that time.
And that wasn't anything to do with football. That was literally.
I remember.
Went to him, middle-aged white men, you wanker. They literally, you see him. Mate, if you're going to be saying stuff like that, then expect to be abused on the street.
Of course it is. Yeah.
No.
100%. Yeah. I mean, it's another. As I say, you got people like him, and he'll open his mouth in terms with Arsenal, and you think to yourself, would you be doing the same if United were top and doing in the position we are?
We know he wouldn't. We know he wouldn't.
He wouldn't, mate. But listen, it's still there's 5 games, and as much as we had that chat, and I had a chat with you and Ben, on the Wednesday, it is up to us as a football club as a whole to get behind the team, but we also need these players to show that extra bit of fight, to show an extra bit they want it, because they're standing on the cusp of history. This football club has not been in the semi-finals of a Champions League and challenging for the league title at this stage of the season, you know, and in both these competitions, it's literally, it doesn't happen, you know. And we have been, you know, the football at times has been turgid, but we've needed to be in efficient results where we've even sat there and watch-alongs and said the same. So these 5 games in the Premier League, Tone, starting with Newcastle tomorrow, it has to be a kind of, as we keep saying, a famous phrase on the Gooner Booth, Mikel, take the handbrake off. I don't mind him having the handbrake on, for Europe, but tomorrow, let it off a little bit. There's a massive debate as well, which we can open it up as well, Tone, on who would play up front. And I think that's such a, as I said, it's a catch-22. You know, I said as well to you guys that are you and Ben on Wednesday, that if you had Havertz hold-up play, Havertz sort of like, you know, link-up play, and you had the cold finishing of a Gyökeres, you've got the perfect striker. But if there's a way that you could shoehorn these into the team, but add the creativity necessary to unlock that partnership, and then Mikel's got to find a way. And if there's 5 games he can do it, this is what he's got to do. But take the handbrake off is the hope, really, especially in the league, mate.
Wayne, good segue. Just we get into starting 11.
Yeah, let's go, my friend. I like this. And Tone, can you, before you do, bring up Charles' comment here and read that out, and I can let you have your say there, matey.
Charles put handbrake off, Odegaard plus Eze same time, right? Well, here we go, mate. Here's the starting 11, buddy. Look, I think that is a perfect lineup because so some team news, Wayne. I don't know if you've seen the press conference. Now, Arteta's alluded to Saka returning back to the squad.
Yeah.
Is it bad? Well, I was thinking about it the other day. When I see it, today, I was like, yes, Saka's back. And I was like, Saka's been poor. Why am I excited, right? But I would prefer Saka in this team right now than Madueke.
You'd prefer, this is the 100% Tone.
That's how bad he's been, Wayne.
As
to out of form Saka in the squad,
yeah, exactly,
over Madueke right now. And
yeah,
he was bought to be a backup.
He was bought to be a backup, a challenger. I think someone brought up, Tone, that we was kind of we were fooled by Madueke's sort of like early season form where he was taking players on, and we didn't have Saka doing that, and Saka was in and out getting injured. You know
where we was fooled, Wayne? We was fooled away at Anfield when he had that game. He was running at, he was, it was running. He was being direct. He was doing the stuff Saka weren't doing. So we all thought, actually, let's hold back the petition got cancelled.
Everyone's cancelled the petition.
It doesn't look too bad. He might be good for us, but I think it's all smoke and mirrors. And I'll keep saying it. He's like the Jovino that we had years ago.
Yeah,
does all the hard stuff, but literally has no end product. And it's been many occasions where he's got the ball and go on, take your man on. He just runs out of play. And
Chelsea fans will tell us as well, which of course really is the end product is his problem, and it showed, doesn't it, mate?
Yeah, but the worry comes in, Wayne, where if he was that good, why would Chelsea let him go? That's the question we got to start asking. Same with Havertz. If they're that good, why would they let him go to a direct rival?
Yeah,
right? There's got to be something in that, and I think our suspicions in the summer are turning out to be correct, and I hate that. And I hope he comes out. If he does start tomorrow, I hope he has a game of his life. Maybe Saka sitting on the bench might prompt him to have a better game because he knows if Saka comes back in that team, it's him and Dalman. Well, look, and he won't get anything. I would even go as far as putting Martinelli on the right tomorrow over Madueke.
Yeah, no, I know you said that, Tone. Yeah, I mean that could be an option. That could be an option. Another one as well, which a guy, I know he might have said it, but a guy on who's a lot of people may or may not know, called the Hand of Ozil, who I follow, and he does come up with team news. And to be fair, Tony, he's rarely wrong. But Calafiori's back as well. But I think obviously
say that,
you got Hincapié. You got Hincapié has to start, and I'll put Madueke there.
Timber's still out though, mate. Timber, which is
the thing. I mean, He for me is a phenomenal footballer, but he's been worked to the ground. So I'm not surprised his body's kind of, starting to push back a bit on him, because he's played a lot of football, Tone, because he's the best player in that position. Mosquera again starts for me, but it depends if Saka's fit, because White, Saka, and Ødegaard being on that pitch could be a good omen to bring back that, with Havertz as well, because that's the 3 or 4 players that kind of got us playing the football, got us scoring the goals when we came close, a couple of years back.
Hello, 170 Gunnar. Thanks for joining. Hello, do you think we can beat Leon on Sunday? Yeah, the ladies are definitely. I reckon it's going to be a tight game. Leon's a good.
Yeah, listen. Good luck to the ladies. Definitely, let's hope so.
We've beaten before. I think we'll get it there. I think we'll get over the line.
Listen, they're the holders. They're the holders of the Champions League. The ladies, they've done us proud. So
yeah,
let's see what they can do.
The ladies, good luck to them. But yeah, I think they'll beat Leon. They've been doing really well in the Champions League, haven't they? The league, they've dropped off a bit, haven't they, really? But I think I don't really follow the women's as much as I probably should. I know there's people around me that do. I do keep an eye on the scores, though. But yeah, I think the Champions League is up for grabs again, definitely, for them.
Yeah, definitely, Bones.
But yeah, look, the one thing that my concern is with the starting 11, Wayne, and Havertz has proven on many occasions now, or enough for me, that role isn't quite working where he sits in midfield. I think we're getting to a stage now where it's you play up front or you play no.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's it, mate. I mean, I know what I'm trying to. Well, I mean, it depends on the midfield. In fairness, I don't think he will go, because if you've got Tonali back as well, I think their midfield, other than Joe Linton, he goes for like a 3-man midfield. So of course you don't get Declan Rice to be overrun, because this is with the point of having sort of like Ødegaard and Eza available and fit. It's a tough one. I personally think you've got to get Ødegaard and Eza in the team, and then your striker should be one you can pick out yourself. You can mix and match between either Gyökeres or Havertz. That this could be one against, say, like a Fulham at home. But if he does against Newcastle, who are not in great form, could also work as well.
Yeah. Charles, EFL just took 2 points off of West Brom for minor infringement, and there is an FA and amount of Man City charges with 0 action. Yeah, Wayne. That's Wayne.
Yeah, sorry, Charles. You must have missed. Yeah. But that kind of started my rant, Charles. But 100%, mate. Well, I'm with you, my friend, and that was what I was making a point. That's why I started. That's why I started the rant off, and obviously Tony had his say as well, because I just think it's all teams around them. Look at Leicester's gone down because of it, mate, haven't they? Sheffield Wednesday as well. These clubs are going, and this is a state-owned club. They were someone said they were legally bought out, which is fair enough, because they weren't, according to the Premier League, Chelsea were legally bought out as well. So if it's a legal thing, fair enough. But the stuff you've done has caused that football club to be where they are and continue to win trophies and do whatever. And they've also, from 2018 to 2023, they got PSR financial irregularities, and that's where the charges have come from 09 to 18. But from 18 to 23, they refused, as Tony said, to give access to the accounts. So that's refusal to cooperate and give any access to their accounts. So you can't be telling me that there is nothing dodgy going on.
Yeah, no worries, Charles. Yeah, that was the start of his run, mate. That was the
so I apologise, Charles, but don't worry at all, my friend. Listen, it's you got that's the point. That's the point we're all making. It's starting to get ridiculous now, Charles, and this is what I was trying to say with Tony as well. That rival fans can hate Arsenal. You don't have to want us to win anything. I get it. But you're defaulting to a cheating institution, and that's the point what I'm getting at. But people won't see that anyway. I keep saying it at work, Tone. I went to some of the West Ham boys and I said, you want to sit there and you want to watch a cheating institution win the top league in football. I said, you can hate my football club. Like, you hate my football club, but you want to see it.
I could imagine you getting a raving up, mate. I could imagine you getting absolutely rattled in your work.
To be fair, I've calmed down. They tried to They try to rattle me in the messages. I'm in the message thing as well, and they try to rattle me at work. But I rise above it, Tone. But it's when it's like literally, oh, that's the one thing I will. The only thing you can rattle me on is the fact that with Man City, because I think that this is unresolved charges. They have been charged. They ain't been investigated, Tone. They have been charged. That's the difference. That's the statement. Because if they've been investigated, then you could be saying blood, but they have actually had charges brought against them. So they're battling the charges with their £1 million lawyers, paying whatever they want because they're a state-backed, state-owned institution, and that's what the point was, matey. But yeah, that's one thing. It's just so annoying, dude. But we have to do it upon ourselves, to do it. I mean, we've had a fan come on here, didn't we? Said do it for English football. And that I thought was a very good comment. I mean, it was the other day, wasn't it? I don't know if it was on a watch along or whatnot. But you're like, thing is, that is one fan. It's like the whole of the fans, a lot of them are defaulting into hate for the Arsenal and not realising the fact that this is ridiculous. The independent panel, Tone, are the ones as well. They're the ones that can bring it. The Premier League can't bring the charges against them. The Premier League have got a product that they need to sell, yeah? And the only product they've got is an Arsenal-Man City title challenge. Otherwise, we'd be winning the title with a win against Newcastle tomorrow because we're like 15 points clear or whatever it is of the nearest challenger. They're like Man United or whatever. Or we could win it in the next couple of games. But that they've got a product there, but it's just morally wrong. What is how can other teams continue to get charged bans? It's just that's where my rant comes from.
It don't make sense.
It just doesn't make sense, Tone. This is all I'm getting at. It can sound like a broken record, but that's why it annoys me so much because again, another football club, another one that's fighting to stay in the Championship, could be going down
now. Evening Metro. He's put,
Evening Metro. Thanks, mate, for joining.
If Saka is fit, he needs to start a 70% or so win ratio with him in the side. Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, Metro. As Tony said as well, and I was thinking it. Yeah. Don't worry, mate. We know you're not shouting us.
No worries,
don't worry. We know you're not shouting, mate. What Tony was saying. Listen, it's the same. Do you want to? If you got a choice on that right hand side, you got obviously Dalman. I think is still quite young, Tony, and whatever, but. If you had to pick between a Madueke Martinelli or a 70% Saka, you're going for 70% Saka, who's not in great form, but you'd rather that all day of the week because they're not doing it. They're not doing it in no way, shape, or form. Trossard as well. That's why I say Ez has got to, for me, he has to start with Ødegaard as close to physically possible as him with him. Whether that be having a Havertz, and I'm only doing that, Tone, because I think you could get away with trying to get Declan Rice at the base and having Ødegaard pick the ball up from deep. It's not a slight against Subamendi, but Subamendi hasn't been in fantastic form.
My thoughts, Wayne, though, my thoughts on this game, I don't think Arteta's going to make any change. I think he's going to go over the same team he played against City. I think that's Jock on the bench as well, by the way.
Yeah,
I think Havertz starts up front again. Charles has put, what do you have to say about these City interviews? Semenyo on podcast, now Doku, then Bournemouth player. Every City, Arsenal, 30s, not a single AFC, sorry, mate, every single AFC player saying anything to the media.
Yeah, it's what it is. It's Pep as well as doing his thing.
They're playing games.
It's mind games. I'm glad you brought that up, Charles, because it's mind games, Tone. And what it is they're constantly throwing it out. Everyone's trying it. I mean, when I see Tyler Adams do it, Charles, I couldn't believe it. I don't know if you've read it, Tone. What he's alluding to is he's a Bournemouth player.
Yeah.
And he was saying, because they're just interviewing everyone that could just lump in on us and lump in. And this is the saying, this is what they're trying to do, But yeah, Semenyo should watch himself anyway and keep his mouth shut because he's actually an Arsenal fan and he's gone to earn his big paycheck at City, so he needs to kind of keep it stummed, doesn't he?
Do you know what? I don't care about City, Wayne. I think we've got 5 games, right? They're not going to go away. I mean, by the sounds of Bournemouth might roll over for them if they're coming out and backing up.
By the sounds of it, yeah, they've got besties at there. Yeah.
So look, I want us to. We need to go. Retro, a very good point here that we need to score goals, but I think more important is just to win the 5 games because they got Everton and Bournemouth away and Villa on the last day. Yeah, look, I think on paper the running's better. The only danger for us,
Emery, sorry, Tone. Emery will
Go on.
roll over, and by the way, Retro, if it meant anything to try to get Man City because he hates Arsenal, someone's alluded to. But I get you with Bournemouth, Everton, mate. If Bournemouth have got anything about them, they gave us a good game. They beat us at home. They should give them a good game. And let's hope that David Moyes got something for his old mucker, Mikel.
Yeah. The thing is,
but win our 5 games, Tone. We have to win our 5 games. Don't rely on anyone else.
The problem that we've got though, the games we've got. I mean, I think Burnley at home needs to be a high scoring game. I know they've done a good job against Man City the other day, but we're at home. We should be getting a few goals in that game. No disrespect to Burnley, but they should be relegated by that point. I think they're relegated now.
No, they're already relegated, Tone. Yeah.
The problem that we've got is the people that we're playing, the teams that we're playing. Sorry, it's your Fulhams and your Newcastles now. Their seasons aren't really going anywhere. So they're going to be playing with a little bit of freedom because a bit like Bournemouth in the sense of
they've got nothing to lose.
Got nothing to lose. They can go out there and play a little bit of freedom, just like when there's no pressure on Arsenal, we batter teams because there's no pressure. It's that freedom. So we've got to really make these count. And I think the first thing we do tomorrow in Newcastle is what I want to see. I want to see us come straight out the traps, right? I was looking on my other screen here. Gordon's been ruled out with hip injury. Right, so there's no Gordon, which gives me confidence because I think Gordon is the one that gets them going. He gets Newcastle playing. So I think that they're there for the taking tomorrow. We've just got to turn up, and we can't be playing nervously. We're a good enough side, and I'm hoping that they're something in the tank now because that City game we played well, Wayne. On another day we would have won that game, right? I know. I'm listening to other podcasts, other supporters like, it's done now. City and I don't think it is. I really don't. But we've got to do our job. We have to do our job now. There's no.
We have to be on that mentality. It's not done, Tone. It's not done. There's a big meme going around, isn't there? Because the Sky Sports called Declan Rice, but he's right. It isn't done. Nothing is done. Look, we effed up against Bournemouth, which meant that we would be sitting here right now with a 3-point cushion, regardless of the result against City. Yeah, but we're not. All right. But this is now a 5-game shootout, and all we've got to do is win games. We'll rack the goals up, right? But I still believe that City have got a draw or 2 in them. That's what I believe. I think that,
Forest 4-0 up against Sunderland.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
At the Stadium of Light as well. Who would have called that?
Well,
if you're watching now, sorry about that. That is not a good result, is it?
What's that? With Forest, so they're beating Sunderland, are they?
Beating Sunderland 4-0.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
That is
Well, Sunderland are safe. As I say, Sunderland are safe, and some players are more than likely. Could Granit? I don't know if Switzerland's are going. Could Granit Xhaka be going? I might have to ease off a bit here, lads, because I want to play. I want to represent my country. Captain them at the World Cup. We've done our bit. We're safe. Well, we'll start building for next year.
I wonder what it does for the league table. Jesus Christ,
yeah.
That is.
I'd love to help you, Town. As I say, I'm working.
That's why I've got the. I've got them open up now. I've got the. Oh. I've got it somewhere. There we go. Yeah, so you've got Claw. Yeah, they break away from West Ham. It's out of West Ham and Spurs now.
So straight shootout.
It takes them 6 points.
Sorry, what Nottingham Forest? What Nottingham Forest? They're 6.
They're 16th, but they're 6 points on West Ham. West Ham have got to play tomorrow. I think if Spurs don't win their next game, they're in trouble.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But no, I'm just looking at the league as well. You got Bournemouth for 7th. All right, they're still going for Europe, so there's a chance of them sneaking in. So probably a good time to play City if they're still in the running for that. Everton are still Everton are 10th. Fulham, that home game against Fulham is dangerous, by the way, because they're literally their season's done now. They can play relaxed football. That's what I'm worried about that game. With teams like that are hard to play against. West Ham away is going to be even harder, Wayne, because they're going to be fighting tooth and nail to stay in this league. Yeah, the games you want to avoid. Charles, will you preview the the bottle derby versus Atletico as well. Later agreeing from losing Copa del Rey to Sociedad of all people.
Yeah,
we're doing the Champions League preview, mate. But look, we'll be doing the preview for the Champions League. Joe, I'm not going to lie, I haven't really thought about Champions League yet. I know we should because we're in the semi-finals. It's one of them things where I just want to get Newcastle out of the way. I want to get 3 points on the board, and then I think we can concentrate on.
We put ourselves in a position now that regardless of the teams we play, every single game we have to get 5 wins, and you know, if you cocked it up again at the end of it, but as I say, I've already had my rant. I hope not, but I think that the City has still got a few dodgy results in them, but it's up to us to go perfect, mate, to show that. But yeah, it starts with tomorrow. Listen, it's a fantastic position to be in. We have got to go to Atletico as well first time. And it's 2 of the kind of rigid coaches. Simeone is like Arteta. And this is where the similarities will come in, and there'll be other fans saying it. But Simeone, I think he's won a league title, he's maybe won a couple of trophies and whatever, but he's been there for a long time playing his football, and they've stuck with him. And he's very similar with Arteta at this moment, and we're hoping Arteta can go a step further. But Atletico Madrid, they love him regardless. He stays there, and he plays the effective football that keeps them at the top or near to the top as much as they can. So it'd be an interesting game in terms of the fact that you got 2 coaches who are going to have the same set of things. Especially, I think at the Emirates we opened them up, and I think that's what he didn't like. So it might have learned him a thing or 2, but go there and stink the place out, and I think we should fully accept a 0-0 if we do. Let's hope for a 1-0 like we did against Sporting Tone. But listen, I think prioritise, as I've said earlier in the stream, the good football in the Premier League, mate.
Yeah, Charles has put, this challenge is unique for Arteta, who has done pragmatism all season. Suddenly to change, Pep has forced him to do so. Yeah, look, Ben pointed out as well, I think that Arteta done something quite smart on Sunday, where he sat Rice on Rodri. I didn't spot that, to be fair, watching it live, but that's why watching it on TV. But obviously he's there, he's watching the tactics take place. So I'm hoping Arteta's got something up his sleeve tomorrow to make us more free flow and attacking, so that Newcastle can't breathe from the first minute. That's what we need.
Suffocate me and don't let them get comfortable, Tone.
We haven't suffocated the team in the first minutes of a game for a while, where we're straight on them, attacking them. Right, early goal.
We can't sit here. We cannot. Well, I know obviously you'll be on the stream, Tone, and obviously I've got a family gathering to do, so it'll be kind of watching it. I might be allowed to escape away if I like, but I can't obviously do the watch along. But I can be in the room while watching it. But it's going to be a tough. I don't want it to turn into a tough watch where you're on the stream doing the watch along, and you're saying it's 60 minutes and we ain't had a shot on target. This football club has to make you. We should have done it at Bournemouth. We cocked it up. Yeah, we cocked a game up against Man U at home. Your home form is vital to what you're doing at the end of the season. So we have to go at it straight on it. There's no room for error, Tone. You draw tomorrow, I think you can kiss it goodbye, because that just gives them more momentum. They might draw, but they could draw 1, win 4. And they could outscore you. They've got a 3-goal swing at the moment. So there's no excuse. You have to go out and win it. Try to go out to win every game that you can. Because I've seen a Mikel Arteta team. We've all seen it. We've seen a team that he's coached, and some of these are the same players, Tone. We've seen it. We've seen them play the football. We've seen them batter teams. Do it, Mikel. It's 33 games in now, mate, and Man City have caught us up. You can't go for half, even for the first half, Tone, having 1 shot on target. You got to pepper that goal, and if it's Ramsdale's, put him under pressure. If he's in goal tomorrow, put him under pressure.
Yeah, he'd be open to have the game of his life, wouldn't he? Yeah. Retro's put, reason our players have not been on social media or interviews since Jan, I think sometimes been going on behind the scenes, as squad seems split in half. The defence players are shouting at attackers. Joe, what I think what you're alluding to there, I think that there has been a little bit of tension. I think, and I read some. I don't know if you read this way. I don't know if someone's talking shit, but apparently after the City game, there was a little bit of unrest in the changing room. Apparently, you had Nketiah arguing with Gabriel, and apparently it kicked off a little bit. But then, obviously, people are going to say that because they want us to completely fold in this title race.
You have to have fallings out. Listen, the Invincibles had fallings out, but they went invincible. Obviously, they're a different kind of kettle of fish, but they had fallings out. You know, they had not fallings out, but Raz and whatnot. You have to discuss it and you have to get it out in the open. And I think Mikel has said they're quite open in that sense that they will be having discussions, but they can take it on the chin if you like. You know, as long as it's constructive, as long as it's benefiting the team and doing it, you know, that has to be the fundamentals of it.
I know that he's being memed for it, and Declan Rice when he when it's not over yet, it's not over, and he was saying to Odegaard, it's not over yet. If this is where I get a little bit frustrated with our supporters, right? If they would have gone out done that time with their heads down, right? Because we bottled it, they can't even. There was no reaction from them. There was no anger. There was no this, right? But when there is a reaction and they're going, no, it's not over, boys. It's not over. You can see someone physically going to another player.
Yeah.
Come on, let's go. I enjoyed that. That actually made me feel bad. So, okay, you're hurting just as much as we are. And you've got to pick it up.
Show a bit of something. Yeah.
That gives me confidence that, listening to Arteta's conference today, right? I know obviously he's going to put an act on because he's a manager. He's not going to go, oh, they're shitting themselves out there going into his Newcastle game. Look, they're not going to say that, are they? Right? He's like, there's a big energy around this team. They're looking forward to the challenge, and you can make an argument go, well, the fact that they're not looking forward to the challenge against Bournemouth a couple of weeks ago. We've got to go out all guns blazing tomorrow. And I think the fact that their best attacking player by a mile, Anthony Gordon, is ruled out, gives us that little bit of leeway to go out.
Could it be that he does want to play against a team that want to potentially sign him in the summer? Who knows? But yeah, he's not there. So, Jazz
there, you mate.
Yeah, well done, mate. Exactly.
I believe in our boys. We can win the league next season.
I misread that. I forgot it was a jazz fair. But yeah, good evening, mate. Fair play. We do need a giggle, my friend. Keep it coming. Don't give up the day job, the nurse job, and your comedy gig on the side. Don't give them both up. But thanks for joining, mate. We appreciate it.
Thanks for joining, mate. Yeah. Wayne, tomorrow, how do we win this game?
Well, as I say, Tony, that is it. It depends on the midfield for me, and I think that's where it'll be. It's the pragmatism of Mikel will come out, but I still think people are saying, right, which some other people are arguing. I mean, we all get it, yeah, and I've said it, and we've had Ben kind of say, well, Wayne, you're talking about Gyökeres, but why have we signed Gyökeres when he isn't a technically efficient striker in that sense? He's not elite in any way, shape, or form for where this club needs to be, but. What I'm saying, everyone's saying it weren't just Havertz, because we've had it, we've said it. Sure, I think in my heart of hearts that as much as he created that space and he made it, Eze and Odegaard were on that team, we played better. If you've got Saka on the right, I think we can batter a lot of teams. Gyökeres would have buried one of those chances. So it wasn't just the fact that you had Havertz back up top that worked, because Havertz has been poor when he's been playing solo up top as well. So, for me, Tone, it is that taking the handbrake off. I don't believe, depending on their midfield, that he's going to want to leave it exposed, because we see the frustrations with Odegaard, like I pointed out on Wednesday, where he kind of pulled out of the challenge and he ran over to that side of the pitch but didn't want to engage. He's not going to do that as a number 8, as I've said in there, but I think you have to go at him, right? If it's a case of being a little bit open, but you've got one of the best number 6s in the world in Declan Rice at the back as well, you tell him to sit, you get Eze, and if you've got Saka 70% and Mikel goes, we've rested you because apparently he wanted to come for City, we've rested you for this one, we do need the 5 points here. 5 points. Well, I wish it was 5 points. 3 points, sorry. I think about 5 games, Tone. Sorry, I mixed my numbers.
Okay.
We need the 3 points. I'll get Saka, Havertz, Eze behind Yok with Odegaard. Odegaard's, dropping deep and Rice protecting the back 4. You have to go for certain things, Tony. And if you're at home, I've chosen that that style of playing, because I think he's got to go for it now. I don't know sideways passing, safe passing from Supermendy. I want it. It needs to be penetrative. Is it going to be from Erdegaard, whoever it's going to be from? But I think you've got to keep Erdegaard and Eze on that pitch now together, because that worked against City, in my opinion. You're a little bit weaker. Eze's not going to provide you what Martinelli does, but I don't want Eze to do that, Tone. I want him to cut him from the inside and have a crack like he did.
Well, look, it worked against City, didn't it? You know, basically. So just
we had a better. If we had a better finisher up top, we would have drawn or won that game. That is standard. You know, it's a weakness of Havertz. You know.
Yeah, should we try Ode, Eze in the same team again? I couldn't watch the match, but the highlights we looked a little better in attack. We did.
Yeah, sorry, Jazz. I've kind of answered that question there anyway, mate. But thanks for the question. Yeah, I think we should, mate. Honestly, I've been saying it all the time. I've not said that Erdegaard, Eze should replace Erdegaard. I've been saying, and Tony, you will know a Jazz, and Tony will say, how many times I put Eze on the left, Tone? How many times? If Erdegaard's fit, he would play. He should play, but have Eze on the left. Eze's got to play every single Premier League game for me. You know,
it would work if Saka starts on the right, because the ball when Saka plays, the ball always veers over to that side anyway, right? If you got Eze on the left, you know that, because Martinelli will just stay on the left, whereas Eze, you know, will go right into that midfield.
Yeah,
well, Arteta don't like it. I know he doesn't like it. He doesn't like the fact that he's not.
He doesn't like players not being rigid to his system, does he?
So, but Eze does it, and I think Eze doesn't always listen to the coaching methods of what he's being told. I think he goes off and does his own little thing.
Yeah.
Which sometimes you need a player to go.
You do, mate.
You know what?
Break that thought process.
Danny Murphy on TalkSport, he made a very good point. You know, is it the players or is it the manager? And Danny Murphy went, no, as a player, you're told by a manager how to set up. As players, if something's not working, you need to take control as a team and go, wow, I'm going to try and influence this game. I'm going to go and tuck in, or I'm going to go out. I'm going to switch pay per view. I'm going to go and move around. I'm going to do all this stuff. This is where Arteta. When we go let the handbrake off, I don't mean play Odegaard in the 8, and that's not what I mean. I mean let our players play. Let them don't stand on that touch.
Yeah. Tone, you know, one of the things, the problem with is, like I said, he coaches them within the inch of their life. I said it the other day, we all know that, right? We can see it, and he's always up on the touchline, right? That affects a lot of other fans as well. But for me, I don't necessarily mind it, right? I've got used to it. We've had him for almost 7 years now. What the difference is that you have players, in my opinion, that can think on the pitch, right? They're of better quality than what we had. Wenger had that philosophy, Tone, right? He had that footballing philosophy, and he never prioritised defence. Yeah, he set up with he was going to a 3, but he'd either have a bank of 4, he'd have a 4 or a 3 in the midfield, right? In the latter years, his goal and his philosophy was like he wanted to play football, get it pass forward, get your triangles, right? When it worked, it's fantastic. Defensively, we were poor, right? But also, his philosophy never changed from the moment he joined Arsenal to the moment he left. The problem was, for that 22-year period, you can't keep the same team, can you? Because they're all going to get old. Yeah. So the players he had in the latter years were not mentally all there to figure it out on the pitch themselves. They weren't of that quality. They didn't have that mentality. You know, the Vieiras, the Pires, Lundberg, Omri, I'm telling you, they play certain ways, but then they knew how to muck in. You know, you had the Ray Parler as well, a bit of Keown, you had a bit of Campbell, a bit of English bulldog spirit. That you know, he had all of that, so he could trust the players. In the latter years, he had a philosophy. The players couldn't exact it. For me, he has a philosophy, Arteta. He's got the players that can change, and what Danny Murphy's alluding to, Tone. They are more, in my opinion, of the quality, better quality than what we had. You know, like having sort of, you know, you had Bellerin at the back, didn't you? Sort of like you had Mustafi, you know, you got Pepe and stuff like that. These are better players that are coached now. You're coached from an inch of life, but you should be coached to the point where you're too scared to play your game of football. You know? And as I say, look at Declan Rice in Power That when he was told to cross that ball against Real Madrid, and he's going, I'm having a crack here. He said to Saka, He said, I'm having a dig. That the bench, that's Mikel looked as slightly happy, but he went, he's look on his eyes. I could see it. He did not want Declan Rice to have a crack. Declan Rice done that, and the second time, I'm doing it again. Let the players do it. That's what you got to do. And these players have got to do it themselves. The boss has told us to do this. Don't be scared to go out of your comfort box, because I think they got a much better IQ than the players that we had in the latter years of Wenger's sort of reign, when he had his own philosophy. You know, it was just, the football was brilliant under Wenger. The structure of the team wasn't, but there's also players as well, Tone. But I think there's a lot of players that you can, certain formations and the players you've got playing can change that. They can think for themselves, you know.
Joe, it sent a massive message tomorrow. In the first 15 minutes, as Arteta just sat in his chair. First half, he just sat down. It sent a message to the players going, "Well, I trust you to go out there and do a job."
Yeah,
he's on the line and he's just overcoaching. I think it's overcoaching.
The thing is, this is a big season, right? And we all, as I said to you on Wednesday again, I said that we wanted it on easy mode. It's now turned into hard mode, in the fact that you're playing against a team with unlimited resources and Pep Guardiola, who can take a team over the line, right? We wanted it on easy mode, where we'd be going to the Etihad with 9-12 points clear, won every game, and we wouldn't worry about losing. This has changed now. The difficulty level has changed, right? But this is where he has to adapt as well. You're not gonna complete the game. You're not gonna reach that 20. You're not gonna end that 22-year hoodoo without taking risks. And it's been 33 games. There's been good games, but there's been a lot of crap games that have led us down this path, Tone. So the only choice he has, you know, is to go for every single game. If you've got to go to West Ham and they score 2 goals, but you scored 5 goals, still a 3-goal swing. You've won the game. We have to win. We have to win by clear goals every single match, put them under pressure. And it starts tomorrow, mate. It has to be done, mate. Go for them. Do what you got to do.
Yeah.
Don't have any regrets. You can't have any regrets. You should have regrets over the last couple of games, but these 5 games now, you have a 5-game shootout. They have a slight advantage on the goal scored. It's a 5-game shootout for the title, Time. Bring it home. Play the football, Mikel. That's the message.
Cool. Let me get this comment out. It's been on the screen for a while, Wayne. Retro has put, I'm not going to lie, but I'm very glad Leicester got relegated. Their fans piped up quite a few years.
They did.
I've had a tweet. I've had something on X from a Leicester fan when we lost to City. And they literally said, "Oh, winning the league's not for everyone."
Yeah.
So I echo that.
I get what you're saying, but what it is as well, it's just what it is, mate, is Retro. So I spit my words out. It's just obviously the injustice of them. That, you know, you can say there are some fans, they get too big for their boots, and they say they want to lump in against the Arsenal. Some of the fans deserve it, but I just think it's just in the fairness and the fact that these guys have been punished. And there's a certain team challenging us at the top of the Premier League and still competing at the top of the league, and it's not getting punished. And there's obviously a reason why. Charles has put, Tone, I'll read this out, mate. He's got, talk about Newcastle. Are they really that poor? Can they leak goals? They're strong defensively. When you're at home, I'm not saying, to be fair, I don't think we will batter them. We've done it before in the past where we've won like a 4-1, 4-0. I can't remember, Charles. But if we can get a 3-goal swing tomorrow, I would be pleased. I think we have to go for it. You know, we have to get the 3 points, and we have to try to win by 2 to 3, you know, 3 margin. But the point you have to look at is just win your games. Yeah, I think City will get a draw with one of those teams. They're playing away from home. I don't think they're going to go perfect, but people are worried about it.
I think Newcastle were there for the taking. They're not the Newcastle of last season or even the start of the season.
They have struggled, Charles, all season.
They've lost 15 games this season. 15 games. And to the point where I don't see Eddie Howe staying on in the summer. I think they let him go. I don't. They've not been great. You've averaging 1.39 goals per game. What's their away form like?
Our stat man's been checking it while you've been asking that question, Charles.
He's on it. Look at him. They've lost 3 out of 5 games, 3-match lose. They won a 3-match losing one. Yeah, they've been poor. They've been really poor. I think injuries haven't helped them. They scored like a total of 46 goals this season. That's not good for them either. But then that's also not bad. So they can score goals. They've got, I think, they're just leaking goals. So I think to answer your question, they are leaking goals. Their defense hasn't been great. It's also not been stable. But they are one of our bogey teams. You know, we beat them.
Yeah. I mean, I would never sit here. I'd never sit here and say. I never sit here and say we're batter and Tone. But what Tony's saying, Charles, in a sense, is batter them on the pitch relentlessly. You imagine what it is, mate. Is what Tony's alluding to. Is that the Arsenal of old would get a goal, and the moment you get a goal, you got to come out. Look at Man City, right? Some people said it was Carl Walker switching off for his old team, and there were some people saying he was celebrating. Where we don't, less said about Carl Walker the better. But City came out, goal from Ireland, bang, 1-0. That means Burnley's got to come at them. When teams have to come out and open, and Burnley done well because they fought for it and fought, and they had their chances. Obviously, they just haven't got the quality. But we have to get at them. Score an early goal, at least score a goal in the first half. The moment you get that 1-0, that's when the other team's got to come out. You don't want to get 0-0, Emirates crowd getting frustrated, and this is where the players tone as well. I know it can be hard as players with 59, whatever my was about 57, works out about 57,000, 58,000 when you add extra odd numbers when the away fans are there. So there's 57. We all say 60,000. There's 57,000 odd Arsenal fans, some in the prawn sandwich brigade at the top, but there's a majority, about 50,000 Arsenal fans at least will be singing. When they're getting frustrated, I can tell you that's tough. Yeah, we don't know because we're low-level players, but you can imagine as professional footballers, it can be quite a stressful thing. But they also have to do their bit to raise the level. I'm glad as well I've not seen anyone saying bring your dinner. I highly doubt that Mikel and the boys have watched this channel, but yeah. I have said I don't want no bring your dinner, bring your supper, bring your whatever. Those players need to bring it.
All he said in the conference is that we're ready to go. We're ready to go. The players are ready to go. We're going to go for it.
I don't want to see Arsenal saying bring your dinner and then having a promotional video. I love this club, and like I said prior to the tweet, I'm going to get behind the team Tone, but it's just for me again. If this we won't go into the league thing, but I will get behind them for these games. Yeah, but we cannot let City win the league. That is the main point. That is the main point, mate.
Retro's put, I think the biggest disappointment this year is yet to come, and I feel we're fully capable of winning the 5 games, but not getting to the CL final, Champions League final, when it's in our grasp. Would it be devastating for me?
Well, you know what? Me and Tony.
Devastating for me. Joe, at the moment, I've already said if I was to pick a Premier League over a Champions League, I'll take Premier League because I think we get that trophy over the line. We can then build in the summer. We need a few changes in the squad, I think. We need a few upgrades in certain areas. I think we go again, and then we go for the Premier League next season, but we also go stronger in the Champions League.
The question really has to be asked, guys, is we get past Atletico Madrid, right in the Champions League, right? And we go to a Champions League final against Barcola, Dewey, Dembele, Kaviri. That's all I'm going to say his name. You got a lot of Vitinha. They got their midfield. Sorry, Neves.
Yeah, you've also got Bayern Munich. Don't forget they're
and if it's Bayern Munich, but I'm saying, that. You know what I mean, or a Bayern Munich. I think PSG. To be fair, could be a great. We're going to watch the game because we're Arsenal fans and we'll watch our game. But I think PSG and Bayern is going to be a fantastic
entertainment. That is, yeah.
And that's the thing with Kompany, mate. He plays an open game as well. They concede goals, but they can bloody score them. Kane, Elise. Yeah, I mean, there's some phenomenal players, but I mean, yeah, Elise is one we should have bloody got.
To the final, Wayne. If we do get to the final, PSG or Bayern, I'm going to be hiding under my seat because they're attacking.
Yeah, this is that's the point I'm making. The attacks, us against the attacks, with like someone said, it's Italy. Other than Eza, which is not kind of reached the levels, but again, has he been given that freedom? Like we've already said throughout the season, he has had moments where he's been missing,
Yeah.
But there's one thing I think was Bayern. We went out the year before, I think, and we just whimpered out. We didn't have nothing in attack, and this is the point. And people are saying, "Oh, Havertz can be the saviour now at number 9." That happened that season as well. There's time. He's not the be all and end all. He's just a phenomenal player in terms of like hold up and whatever, but he's not elite at finishing. You know, and I think we with these players, you know, that's just a criticism. But we need to get behind every single player. Whatever player you think's not good enough for the summer, I've said before, the only thing as Arsenal fans, we get behind it. Let's talk about it afterwards when we've seen them at the parade and we clap them off and we go, thank you very much. Leave this football club, if you are leaving this football club, as legends, and go and enjoy the rest of your football career. But let's do it for the Arsenal Football Club. That's the main thing. Start tomorrow, mate. R5. Get on there. Not the fans, those players. The 11 players that take to that pitch, Tone, they should be bringing their dinner. Don't throw it up on the pitch, though. Just bring it.
Look, I think that before we start wrapping up, mate, here's something that will is a little bit. So Newcastle in the red zone, right? I don't know if you can see that. Right, they're in the red zone.
Yeah.
They're a little bit. Hang on, let me zoom in on there. But their wins have come against Man United and Chelsea, which tells me that they're. It was an advertisement. No, I want to see that. Which tells me that they're going to
kind
be
of saving it for the big. Yeah.
So they're going to be up for tomorrow. They're not going to be no months.
Yeah, exactly.
We knew that anyway.
We know that anyway, and we've not been on here once disrespecting Newcastle because we know that they've been a bogey team, but it's crunch time, Bones. It's crunch time now, mate.
Yeah. Jorginho's not been on tonight. It'd be interesting to get his take on it. I'm sure he'll join me for the watch on tomorrow and throw his soup heads as the game's going on.
So he'll be busy with a baby Friday nights, you know. You know.
Yeah. Wayne, predictions for tomorrow.
I want a 3-0, Tone. I want a 3-0 home win. That's what I want.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 2-0. I'm gonna go 2-0.
2 or 3.
3-0. We need to get some goals.
I think it's got. I mean, that's the thing. We have to pick your moments, but at the moment, it's about getting the results. But we have a goal difference as well. Whether that be Newcastle with Dan, if they got Dan Burn playing, Thiago, but I think they can get. You can get at them, mate. Their defense. You know.
I think we can, and I think I think whoever starts. If it's York, if it's Havertz, goals need to go in. You need.
It will just mean what he wants. I personally think that that against an Atletico, that could be where you need to hold the ball up. If you've got technical players, we need more technical players is what the problem is, Tone, in the summer. But right now we need those players that we have, and that'll be like an Eza, and if Saka's fit, and Ødegaard, have them free on the pitch. Regardless of having a Havertz, you don't have to have a Havertz tomorrow. You can have a Havertz against Atletico in the week, have him hold that ball up, frustrate, lay the ball off, and if we nick a goal again, great. Bring York off the bench. I want a goal scorer tomorrow, and I think you can play in transition against Newcastle. And York showed when he played at Newcastle at St James's Park that he can play that role against them. So get a striker like that against them, Tone. That's what I say tomorrow, mate.
Yeah, guys, let us know what your predictions are in the chat. My worry tomorrow, I'll get this last point over, mate, and we'll start wrapping up. Is Eddie Howe has a really good record against Arteta in terms of knowing what he's going to do tactically. Do you think Arteta should tweak the formation tomorrow? I think he should.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I say about having Declan Rice at the base, Bones. If you need to, I've also advocated, but I don't think obviously you've got the personnel. But I would say that if you're going to have an Ødegaard for next year, and if he's not going to go anywhere in the summer, that you need a 3-man midfield. You know, in a different kind of sense. You know, to have a player who can muck in. I think Ødegaard should operate from the left. I've been saying it for ages. He wants to get Ødegaard on the right-hand side to be linking up with Saka, to be linking up with a Benny White, for argument's sake. That worked in the past, Tone. But I think if this guy's going to play for the future of Arsenal Football Club, whether he's going to stay or whatever he's going to do, we know that there's been stuff I'm not going to allude to because we need to focus on what these players need to achieve and what they can achieve together. But I think if your 3-man midfield could be a different change of formation is what I'm saying. But yeah, he has to do something different, Tone, because Eddie Howe tactically knows how to set up against Arsenal. He knows. Yeah, we haven't got a Moreno to bail us out like he did against them at their ground, and obviously we then nicked another goal, didn't we? But Moreno opened it. We were 1-0. We was on our way to a 1-0 defeat. Moreno come off the bench, nicked that a fantastic header, clipped it into the far corner, and we was on our way. Yeah, so you can't rely on a set piece because at the moment our set pieces are poor. So he's got to change. There's got to be tweaks. He reckons there's a tweak. I see a little bit of difference. If they play like they did against City, I see us opening Newcastle up without a doubt, mate.
Yeah, no,
Excuse me, sorry, guys.
That's right. Wayne's losing his voice. I think we're
Oh,
calling.
yeah.
Guys, thank you for joining as always.
Yeah.
Please smash the like button up. Subscribe if you're new around here. There will be a watch along tomorrow. It will just be myself. Wayne is not available. I shall be on just after 5 o'clock. Come and join me. Get involved in the comments. Big game ahead. But yeah, Wayne, closing thoughts.
Yeah, listen, I think we're too emotional against Bournemouth, Tone, and they need to take the shackles need to be taken off. So listen, obviously, if I can join you at some kind of join you in the comments. I will be there as best I can, matey. As that's a kids' party, I may have to run after, and having 3 daughters means they'll be running around, and I'll have to be on guard as well as trying to watch some football. So that's why obviously I can't be live because I was moaned at last time when my kids were talking and they were told to shut up. So it's best I don't do something where it's going to upset people if they do come on. But closing thoughts, mate, would be that, you know, we're Arsenal Football Club. That Emirates Stadium, it's our stadium. Yeah, it needs to be rocking, and what will help that stadium rock is that they go at them, get straight from that final whistle. Don't go for 5-10 minutes and then drop off. Yeah, let's go for it, and it has to be a sustained one, and that is where it's all vital down to the manager, mate. So let's go do it. No emotions, leave it all on the pitch. Don't have any regrets, because we haven't worked this hard as a football club, as Mikel with his staff, with the players. You know, you haven't worked this hard to come away from this season with F all. You know, that will be the biggest kind of, you know, kick in the teeth, because we have done everything right in the past time. We've slipped up on certain things. It's time to just take it in your own hands, you know, and win something, because it'll be a massive shame if we can't win nothing out of this season, because as much as the football hasn't been fantastic, mate, we've got where we are for a reason, and we're still there. So take it home, Tone. That's my closing thoughts. Boys, take it home. 7 games, potentially 8 games. You know what to do. Just take it home.
Cool. Have a good evening, guys.
Thanks a lot, guys. Cheers for sticking around. All the best.